Hi there, this is AJ with Car Inspected, and today we are in the Woodbridge, Vaughan area. We're looking at this 2004 Maserati coupe GT V8 manual transmission. It's got 14,000 kilometers on it. Overall, it's in pretty nice condition for what it is. Body is nice and straight, no major dings, dents, or any issues like that. It is running right now. The battery is pretty dead, so I'm trying to let it charge up a bit so we can take it on a test drive. But for the most part, the outside looks pretty nice. As you can see, I did paint thickness verification throughout, and I actually don't see any signs of issue. There is a small fronted collision reported on the Carfax. I believe it was just the front bumper cover. There's a little bit of damage on the bottom of it. I will show you that in 1 second. But as you see back here, everything looks pretty nice. No major issues. There's a couple little tiny things. Little chip right there. You can hear it running. Nice and smooth. No issues. All the gaps and everything are nice. All the windows seem to be original Maserati, as well as the windshield. All looks pretty good. A couple little scuffs on this side. But as you see, I don't see any damage or any issues with any of these bumper lines, anything like this. Everything comes down. There's a couple little scuffs here and there. You can barely even see them in the silver. I think if you got them buffed out, they'd be just fine. A couple little chips in this door here on the edge, but no major issues. Mirrors look good. Front fenders look good. It does have a protective coating all over the front. And this front bumper has that coating too. It's starting to yellow in a couple of places, that coating. As you can see, lights are working. Grille is in good shape. The only thing that I see damage is underneath here. You can see these plastic parts right here. And some scuffs from this. Mostly probably from curb or whatever. And bolts missing right here. Other than that though, I don't see any signs of real issue. Like I said, maybe this bumper covers were painted and then that coating was put on it, so you can't really tell. But everything seems to line up nice. This is off a little bit here. But everything else seems to line up nice and look pretty good. As I said, original windshield, Maserati windshield with no chips or any issues like that in it. We're going to, while it's running, I'm going to pop the hood, and then I'm going to shut it off so we do the rest of the video. The air conditioning also is not getting too cold, so that could be an issue. I've been trying to let that run, but it's not getting cold. Oh, see, the car just died on its own. That happened earlier as well. I don't know if there's some kind of a timer on it or what, but it's been about 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes, and then it shut off. So the car is off right now, fortunately. The engine does run well though. No issues that I see. It is warm. We looked at belts, hoses, etc. I see no signs of issue, no leaks, no major problems. I also see no signs of major accident in this front cross member or any of the crumple zones in the frame rails. It's hard to see on the video, but I can look at them while I'm here. So everything looks pretty good, and as it should be. Under this cover, there's a couple of clips missing in different places, by the way. But all the covers do seem to be here for the most part. Under here is your oil tank and your dipstick, and we looked pretty good. We got a green light on that with no issues. Your coolant is also under here. It was a little murky, probably needs a change and a flush, and it was at like 20 degrees Celsius, so does need a little attention there. Brake fluid over here. It's actually too deep down in the reservoir for me to test it, so I cannot attest to that. All this stuff looks pretty decent. Here are the original assembly numbers, etc. So everything is here. None of this was repainted or anything like that. I don't see any scratched bolts showing that these fenders were taken off, anything of that nature. So realistically, I don't see much of any issue wherever this was repaired from the collision. Well, now that the car is off, we're going to leave it off. I'm going to turn the ignition off. And we'll go around. Brakes, tires, etc. all look pretty decent. These are either 2006 tires, so they are a little older. They're Michelin Pilot Sports. Decent condition. I think there was 30 seconds of tread on these guys. No real issues there. Rim looks good right here. No issues. Brakes, vented rotors look pretty decent. Drilled rotors. And there's about, I'd say, 50% left on the brakes. So we're looking pretty good there. Underside throughout the vehicle looks pretty nice. Suspension components all look good. I see no signs of issue. All pretty decent. We're going to come around to the passenger front. And now here we have a similar tire, about 830 seconds of tread, 2003. Sorry, I said 6 before, the 2003 tires, so they are getting pretty old. But they are similar 830 seconds of tread. Now this rim has a good amount of curb rash on it, as you can see here and here. It's a nice chunk of curb rash right there. So that is to be noted. Brakes, same thing, they look pretty good on this side with no issues, about 50% or so left. Underside looks just as good with no issues. And underside everywhere else also looks good. I don't see leaks, rust, issues, damage. All looks pretty decent under there. Bottoms of the rockers look decent as well. A little bit of something right there. Here we are to the back tires. This one looks pretty good. A little bit of curb rash right here. But it's also a 2003 Michelin. With these back ones have about 530 seconds of tread, so they're down a little bit more. Rear brakes also look pretty decent. There's no big gouges or anything like that in the rotors, and there's about, again, about, say 50-60% left on those brakes. Under the rear, looks just as nice as the front. Not dirty, axle boots all look good, differential's not leaking. Everything is kind of up to snuff and looking pretty decent. We'll come over here. It's also looking pretty decent. This rim has no curb rash or anything like that. It's also a 2003 with about 530 seconds of tread. Looking pretty decent, and under there looks good as well. And as we go down the rest of the rear end, I mean the undercarriage, again, all looks pretty decent. You'll see a bunch of photos, and all looks nice and clean. There's a little bit of chipping going on here, by the way. This is the rocker molding to that quarter panel. A little bit of chipping. Now we go into the interior, which all presents pretty well. This door looks pretty nice. This is the driver's door. No real issues, all nice and clean. A couple of kick marks, little scuffs, but really nothing. See, they wipe right off, no big deal. Everything looks good there. Rockers, sill plates, sorry. Driver's seat does have a little bit of wear on it, as you can see from use. Leather's a little cracky, not too bad, but it is there. Everything else looks pretty good. And as we go through the interior, it all looks pretty nice as well. Under here, carpets look good, pedals look good. No real problems, no salt or anything like that. All looks pretty nice. All these vents are a little sticky. I don't know what it is, but all of the vents have this little stickiness on them. It's kind of gross. Like I said, I don't know what it could be, but you can actually see fingerprints all over it. Dash top looks nice. Again, all the leather looks good, no issues there. Gauges are all nice. I'm sure it's dead. Yeah, so there's no power whatsoever. When it was on, radio was working. Controls seemed to work okay. Like I said, I had the air conditioning on, but it was not getting cold, so there is an issue with that. Windows worked, power mirrors worked, so all that stuff worked. However, this driver's seat did not go up and forward and back. So that switch did not work as it should. All this stuff looks good. All these boots look nice, no major issues. Headliner looks good as well. No rips or tears, all looks really nice. Rear seat has a couple of little marks there and there, but otherwise than that, it all looks pretty good. This is popped out here, so that needs to be repaired, and there's a little mark there as well. Everything else looks pretty decent back here. This other panel, no real issues. Carpets look nice throughout. All look pretty decent. We'll go around to the passenger side and then open the trunk. Door panel looks pretty good with no real issues. Little threads starting to come undone here, but nothing too bad. And again, all this looks pretty nice and presentable. This seat, the power seat, did work with no issue, so that's all good. And the seat looks very nice, again, with no issue. A couple of threads starting to come here, but nothing big. And again, back here, another view of the rear. Everything looks pretty nice. Probably not much use, so I don't see many people sitting back there. And the dash on this side looks pretty decent as well. Coupe GT badges, a little couple of marks here and there. All this is good. All this paperwork is in here. Everything looks pretty decent. I think the major problem is the battery and the air conditioning and that power seat. Now these windows are supposed to go down when you open them, and because the battery's dead, I found out that they don't actually go down when you try to close the door. So we're gonna have to hook up the battery to open that door again. Close that door again, sorry. So there it is, 2004 Maserati GT Coupe. I'm gonna try to start it back up and maybe take it for a test drive. I might not be able to since the battery is so dead that the car won't even stay running. So, like I said, we're gonna try, but I don't know if it's gonna happen. As usual, there you have it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.